Once upon a time, in the serene city of Enugu, there lived a stunning woman named On. Known for her culinary skills, she was a dedicated caterer who catered for numerous events throughout the city. Despite her success, On faced a daily struggle. She had no car of her own. Each day, she would navigate the bustling streets of Enugu, balancing food trays and supplies in her hands while relying on public transportation. It was exhausting, but her passion for cooking kept her going. On was well respected in her community, known not just for her delicious dishes, but also for her warm heart. She often volunteered to cook for local charities and community events, believing that food had the power to bring people together. A small apartment was filled with cookbooks, spices, and the aroma of her latest creations. However, the lack of a reliable means of transportation made her work increasingly difficult. She often arrived at events frazzled and exhausted, but she never let her struggles affect her passion for cooking. One day, On received an exclusive catering job for a lavish dinner at the residence of Chief Emma Okao, one of the wealthiest men in the city. His mansion was located on the outskirts of town, making transportation a challenge. To ensure her food arrived on time, On hired a taxi. However, the driver faced multiple delays, including refueling and navigating through police checkpoints. By the time they reached the chief's residence, On was breathless and drenched in sweat. Nevertheless, she greeted the guests with a bright smile, and the aroma of her dishes soon filled the air, earning her praises from everyone present. Impressed by her dedication, Chief Emma called On aside at the end of the event. "You did an amazing job tonight," he said warmly, "but I noticed how difficult it was for you to get here." On nodded. Acknowledging his point, she explained that she was saving up for a car. Chief smiled and gestured toward his garage, filled with luxury vehicles. "Take that black SUV," he said, pointing to one of the cars. On's eyes widened in disbelief. "Chief, this is too much," she exclaimed. But he insisted, assuring her it was nothing, as his garage was overflowing with exotic cars. Overwhelmed with gratitude, On dropped to her knees. "Thank you, sir. May God bless you abundantly," she said, rushing to the car in excitement. That night she drove home, still in shock. Her friends gathered around the car, eyes wide with disbelief. "Is this really yours?" her friend Uchi asked, running a hand over the sleek vehicle. "Yes, Chief gifted it to me," On replied, and their jaws dropped in astonishment. For days, On admired her new car, feeling as though her life had taken a miraculous turn. No longer did she have to struggle with public transport. Her business was about to become much easier. A week later, she received a large order for an event in a neighboring town. Excited, she decided to take the SUV for its first catering delivery. As she drove through the quiet streets, something strange happened. The car's radio suddenly switched on by itself. At first, she thought it was a glitch, but then she heard a whisper calling out a specific address repeatedly. On dismissed it as her imagination, attributing it to a lack of sleep from preparing large orders. Suddenly, the car jerked violently, causing her heart to race. The steering wheel became stiff, and before she could react, the car came to a complete stop. "Not today," she grumbled in frustration as a customer called, demanding to know where she was. Looking around, she noticed a street sign that sent chills down her spine. It was the exact address she had heard on the radio. Trembling, unchecked her phone's map. She had never been to this place before, yet the car had brought her here. Did the car bring me here? She wondered, filled with curiosity. Deciding to investigate, she approached the house, which appeared well kept. A car was parked outside, and she could hear voices inside. Knocking on the door, a young man answered. His friendly demeanor changed instantly, and he stepped back, looking past her at the black SUV. "You came in that car?" he asked, fear evident in his voice. Unsensed something was off. "I'm sorry to disturb you, but my car stopped right in front of your house, and I was wondering if you knew a mechanic nearby," she explained. The young man's expression darkened, and he warned her never to come close to him again before slamming the door in her face. Stunned, On stood frozen, her heart racing. What had just happened? Why had he reacted that way? She turned back to her car, feeling uneasy. Taking a deep breath, she pulled out her phone, which was ringing. A strange voice commanded her to run. Panic surged through her as she rushed to the car, and it started on its own. She drove quickly to the venue where her angry customer awaited her. "What kind of behavior is this?" the customer scolded as On stammered an apology while unloading the food. Cold sweat trickled down her back. She was terrified of driving the car back home. Determined to return the car to Chief, On summoned her courage and got back into the SUV. As she drove, she felt a strange movement in the car. Suddenly, hundreds of worms crawled from beneath the seats, covering her body. Screaming, she slammed on the brakes, the car screeching to a halt. Panting heavily, she threw open the door and jumped out, brushing frantically at her body. But when she looked down, there was nothing, no worms, no movement. Was she losing her mind? The car's headlights flickered and the voice returned, commanding her to get in. Terrified, On stepped away, but her legs felt paralyzed. Tears welled in her eyes. She had to escape. Summoning every ounce of courage, she forced herself back into the car. The moment she sat down, the doors locked automatically. She pounded on the window, screaming, but no one was around to help. The car started moving on its own, picking up speed toward the outskirts of town. To her astonishment, the car came to a stop in front of the same strange house. Heart pounding, On stepped out and approached the door, which was slightly ajar. The house was silent as she moved through the hall, wondering why the car had brought her here again. Suddenly, she heard a car pull into the driveway. Panicking, she hid in a wardrobe, holding her breath as the young man from earlier entered the room, looking terrified. He dialed a number repeatedly, speaking in a language On couldn't understand. She remained still, heart racing, until the man abruptly left. Peeking through the wardrobe, she saw him staring at the SUV in terror. On's breath hitched as she ducked behind the curtains, watching him cautiously circle the car. After a few tense moments, he glanced over his shoulder and hurriedly drove away. Determined to uncover the truth, On approached the SUV, hesitating as her hand hovered over the door handle. Suddenly, the trunk popped open on its own. Terrified, she peered inside and saw a blood-stained scarf. A chill ran down her spine. Could this be connected to the strange occurrences? She had to return the car to Chief and demand answers. Driving for hours, On was terrified that something strange would happen, but nothing did. Just as she was about to turn into Chief's driveway, she spotted the strange man leaving Chief's house. Panic surged through her as she wondered what connection he had with Chief. That night, sleep eluded her as she replayed the events in her mind. The car, the strange man, the address, it was all connected. But how? The next day, On decided to visit Baba J, an old mechanic with connections and information. She recounted her story, and Baba J's expression darkened. "This car has a very dark story," he said gravely. He pulled out an old newspaper, revealing an article about Chinelo Okao, Chief Emma's daughter, who had vanished without a trace 5 years ago. On's breath caught in her throat as she recalled the blood-stained scarf. Baba J explained that many believed Chief had a hand in his daughter's disappearance, using her for rituals. On's body turned cold as the pieces fell into place. She returned home to find Uchi, who noticed the terror in her eyes. "What's wrong?" Uchi asked, placing a hand on On's shoulder. "Chief sacrificed his own daughter," On whispered, and Uchi's eyes widened in horror. Determined to expose the truth, Uchi revealed that Lady Emma, Chief's wife, suspected him of dark dealings and was planning to divorce him. Uchi suggested they approach Lady Emma for help. On hesitated, but ultimately agreed. The next day, she met Lady Emma at a spa, pretending not to know who she was. Their conversation turned serious as On revealed she had proof of Chief's involvement in Chinelo's disappearance. Lady Emma's expression darkened as On shared her findings. "We need to take action immediately," Lady Emma said, urging On to secure the evidence. On revealed she had left the scarf in the trunk of the car, and they decided she needed to retrieve it. Rushing home, On discovered the SUV was gone. Panic surged through her as she called Uchi, who urged her to leave her house immediately. Just as they were about to escape, armed men stormed in. One of the men recognized On as the caterer who had once helped him. He lowered his weapon, revealing he worked for Lady Emma. On was shocked to learn that Lady Emma was behind Chinelo's disappearance, having switched her dead child with another newborn. Lady Emma's jealousy had driven her to commit the unthinkable. The man handed On an envelope with photos and an address showing where Chinelo was buried. On realized it was the same address the car had taken her to. She took the evidence to the police, who launched an investigation. They uncovered Chinelo's body in a shallow grave, shocking the city. Chief was invited for questioning, revealing he had believed his daughter had run away. As the truth unfolded, a nationwide manhunt was launched for Lady Emma, who had gone into hiding. Days later, the police discovered she was hiding with her lover, Maxwell. They apprehended them in a dramatic raid, and Lady Emma's facade crumbled as she was exposed for her crimes. Unwatched from a distance, her heart at peace, knowing justice had been served. The black SUV, once a source of terror, now stood silent in front of the house. On exhaled shakily, knowing that Chinelo's spirit had finally found peace. The story served as a reminder that truth always finds a way to surface, and that acts of kindness can have lasting impacts. Greed and jealousy lead to destruction, and Lady Emma's downfall was a testament to that. In the end, On's selfless act of feeding a hungry man had ultimately saved her life, proving that even the smallest good can have profound consequences. As the days turned into weeks, On found herself reflecting on the whirlwind of events that had transpired. The city of Enugu buzzed with the news of Lady Emma's arrest, and the community rallied around On, celebrating her bravery in uncovering the truth. Her catering business flourished as people sought her out, eager to support the woman who had faced such darkness and emerged victorious. On decided to honor Chinelo's memory by starting a scholarship fund for young women in the culinary arts. She wanted to ensure that no one else would have to struggle as she had, and that every aspiring chef would have the opportunity to pursue their dreams. With the help of her friends and the community, she organized fundraising events, showcasing her culinary skills and sharing her story. As the scholarship fund grew, felt a sense of purpose and fulfillment. She began mentoring young women, teaching them not only how to cook, but also the importance of resilience and kindness. She shared a story of how a simple act of generosity had led her to uncover a dark truth, inspiring her mentees to always stand up for what was right. One day, while preparing for a large charity event, On received a call from a local news station. They wanted to feature her story and the scholarship fund on their program. Excited, yet nervous, On agreed, knowing that this was another opportunity to spread awareness and inspire others. The day of the interview arrived, and On stood in front of the camera, her heart racing. She shared her journey, the struggles she faced, and the importance of community support. As she spoke about Kinelo and the scholarship fund, tears filled her eyes. She felt a deep connection to the young women she was helping, knowing that she was making a difference in their lives. The interview aired, and the response was overwhelming. Donations poured in for the scholarship fund, and On's story resonated with many. People from all walks of life reached out, eager, eager to contribute and support her cause. On felt a renewed sense of hope and purpose, knowing that she was not only honoring Chinelo's memory, but also empowering others to pursue their dreams. As the months passed, On's catering business continued to thrive. She expanded her menu, incorporating traditional dishes from various cultures, and her events became known for their exquisite flavors and beautiful presentations. She often collaborated with local farmers and artisans, promoting sustainable practices and supporting the community. One day, while preparing for a particularly large event, On received a visit from Chief Emma. He had been released from custody after the investigation cleared him of any wrongdoing. He approached On with a heavy heart, expressing his gratitude for her bravery in uncovering the truth about Lady Emma. He apologized for the pain and suffering she had endured and offered his support for the scholarship fund. On was taken aback by his sincerity. She had always viewed him as a powerful figure, but in that moment, she saw a man who had lost everything he held dear. They spoke for hours, sharing their experiences and healing from the past. Chief Emma offered to host a fundraising gala at his mansion, promising to use his resources to help elevate the scholarship fund. The gala was a resounding success, drawing in influential figures from across the city. On stood before the crowd, sharing her story and the importance of supporting young women in the culinary arts. The evening was filled with laughter, music, and a sense of community as people came together to make a difference. As the night came to a close, On felt a sense of fulfillment wash over her. She had turned her struggles into strength, and her journey had inspired others to do the same. The scholarship fund continued to grow, and On's legacy as a caterer and mentor flourished. Years later, On stood in front of a group of young women, all eager to learn the art of cooking. She smiled, knowing that she had created a safe space for them to explore their passions and dreams. The scholarship fund had transformed lives, and On felt a deep sense of pride in what she had accomplished. As she shared a story with the new generation of aspiring chefs, she reminded them of the importance of kindness, resilience, and standing up for what is right. On knew that the journey was far from over, and she was excited to see where it would lead next. In the end, On's story was not just about the car or a catering business, it was about the power of community, the strength of the human spirit, and the impact of one person's kindness. She had turned her darkest moments into a beacon of hope for others, proving that even in the face of adversity, one could rise and make a difference. And as she looked out at the eager faces before her, she knew that the legacy of love and kindness would continue to thrive for generations to come. As the years rolled on scholarship fund gained national recognition. She was invited to speak at culinary schools and conferences, sharing a journey and inspiring countless individuals to pursue their dream. Her story became a symbol of hope, resilience, and the transformative power of kindness. One day, while attending a culinary conference in Lagos, I met a young chef named Ada. Ada was a talented cook with dreams of opening her own restaurant, but she lacked the resources to make it happen. On saw a spark in Ada that reminded her of her younger self. She decided to take Ada under her wing, mentoring her and helping her navigate the challenges of the culinary world. Together, they worked on developing Ada's culinary skills and business acumen. On introduced her to local farmers, suppliers, and other chefs, helping her build a network of support. Ada flourished under On's guidance, and soon she was ready to launch her own catering business. On organized a launch event for Ada, inviting influential figures from the culinary world and the community. The event was a huge success, and Ada's talent shone brightly. She received numerous bookings and quickly gained a reputation for her innovative dishes. As Ada's business grew, she remained grateful to On for her support. She often credited On as her mentor and inspiration, and the two women formed a deep bond. On felt a sense of fulfillment watching Ada succeed, knowing that she was helping to create a new generation of talented chefs. Meanwhile, On's own catering business continued to thrive. She expanded her offerings to include cooking classes, where she taught aspiring chefs the art of cooking and the importance of using fresh local ingredients. Her classes became popular, attracting students from all over the city. One day, while teaching a class, On received a call from a prominent food magazine. They wanted to feature her story and her catering business in an upcoming issue. Excited yet nervous, On agreed, knowing that this was another opportunity to share her journey and inspire others. The magazine article highlighted On's rise from humble beginnings to becoming a successful caterer and mentor. It showcased her dedication to her craft, her commitment to community, and her passion for empowering young women in the culinary arts. The article resonated with readers, and soon On's phone was ringing off the hook with inquiries and requests for catering services. As her business flourished, On remained grounded and focused on her mission. She continued to mentor young chefs, helping them navigate the challenges of the culinary world. She organized workshops and events, bringing together aspiring chefs and established professionals to share knowledge and experiences. One day, while attending a food festival, On encountered a familiar face, Chief Emma. He had been working to rebuild his reputation after the scandal surrounding Lady Emma. He approached On with a warm smile, expressing his admiration for her continued success and the impact she was making in the community. They struck up a conversation, reminiscing about the past and discussing their shared commitment to helping others. Chief Emma revealed that he had started a foundation aimed at supporting underprivileged youth in Enugu, providing scholarships and mentorship programs. On was inspired by his efforts and offered to collaborate on a culinary program for the foundation. Together, they launched a culinary initiative that provided scholarships for young aspiring chefs from low income families. The program included hands on training, mentorship, and opportunities for internships in local restaurants. On and Chief Emma worked tirelessly to ensure the program's success, and soon it gained recognition throughout the city. As the years passed, On's impact on the culinary community continued to grow. She became a sought after speaker at conferences and events, sharing her story and advocating for the importance of mentorship and community support. Her scholarship fund expanded, and she established partnerships with culinary schools and organizations across the country. One day, while attending a gala event, On was surprised to receive an award for her contributions to the culinary arts and her dedication to empowering young women. As she stood on stage accepting the award, she reflected on her journey, the struggles, the triumphs, and the lives she had touched along the way. In her acceptance speech, On emphasized the importance of kindness, resilience, and the power of community. She encouraged everyone to support one another and to never underestimate the impact of a single act of generosity. The audience erupted in applause, and On felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that her message resonated with so many. As she continued her work, On remained committed to her mission of empowering others. She often visited schools and community centers, sharing her story and inspiring young people to pursue their dreams. She believed that everyone deserved a chance to succeed, regardless of their background. Years later, On found herself reflecting on her journey once again. She had built a successful catering business, mentored countless young chefs, and created a legacy of kindness and empowerment. Her heart swelled with pride as she thought about the impact she had made in her community. One day, while preparing for a large charity event, On received a call from a former mentee, Ada. Ada had opened her own restaurant and it was thriving. She wanted On to be the guest of honor at her restaurant's grand opening. On was overjoyed and honored to be invited. The grand opening was a beautiful celebration filled with friends, family, and supporters. As On walked into the restaurant, she was greeted with cheers and applause. Ada had decorated the space with photos of their journey together, showcasing their shared experiences and the impact they had made in the culinary world. During the event, Ada took a moment to express her gratitude to On. "You believed in me when I didn't believe in myself," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "You taught me the importance of hard work, resilience, and kindness. I wouldn't be here without you." On felt tears welling in her eyes as she embraced Ada. In that moment, she realized that her journey had come full circle. She had not only transformed her own life, but had also empowered others to do the same. The legacy of love and kindness she had created would continue to thrive for generations to come. As the night went On looked around the room, filled with laughter, joy, and a sense of community. She knew that her story was just one of many, and that every person had the power to make a difference in the world. With a heart full of gratitude, she raised her glass in a toast, celebrating the journey, the friendships, and the impact they had all made together. In the years that followed, On continued to inspire others through her work, her mentorship, and her unwavering belief in the power of kindness. She became a beloved figure in the culinary community, known not only for her delicious dishes, but also for her heart and dedication to helping others. As she looked back on her life, or knew that her journey was far from over. There were still many young chefs to mentor, many lives to touch, and many stories to share. With each passing day, she remained committed to her mission, knowing that the power of community and kindness would always prevail. And so, the story of On, the caterer who turned her struggles into strength, continued to unfold. A tale of resilience, hope, and the transformative power of love. In the heart of Enugu, her legacy lived on, inspiring countless individuals to pursue their dreams and make a difference in the world, one meal at a time. I hope you enjoyed the story.